Welcome to the Sailing to Success podcast, the show created exclusively for entrepreneurs and small business owners looking for a safe port in the storm of fast-paced business growth. Lindsay Phillips is the founder of Smooth Sailing Online Support, a company dedicated to helping entrepreneurs and small business owners increase customer service, run their business more effectively, and increase their profits. Prepare to be inspired and learn some practical tips and strategies you can use in your business today. And now, welcome your host and captain for this 30-minute excursion, Lindsay Phillips.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Sailing to Success podcast. My name is Lindsay Phillips and I'm your host and captain for this 30-minute excursion. And for those of you that don't know me, I love to help entrepreneurs, not just motivate and inspire, but really share some practical tips and some business building strategies so that you can grow your business as well. And today we're going to be talking about how to be high performers with a high performance coach, Dr. Emiliy Letran. So I'm really excited to have her on. Her story is absolutely amazing, and the amount of things that she's accomplished is kind of mind-boggling, to be honest. She is a general dentist who owns two multi-specialty group practices in Southern California. She's got an amazing story. She's actually an author of several books. One of them is From Refugee to Renaissance Woman, and she shares her story of coming to the U.S. as a refugee at 13 years old, and how she's gotten from there to here. She's got a newer book, which is Commit to Embracing Your Big Life, which offers insights and strategies to building a stronger business. I mean, she knows all about building a strong business. And you know what? Balancing her work and her family life. She's got three great kids, a wonderful family. Of course, she, has her dentistry. She's also got an Emiliy Letran Foundation. So she pays it forward. She provides basic dental care to veterans and families of disadvantaged backgrounds. And she's also going to be offering high performance coaching to help business owners from disadvantaged backgrounds. So with being a certified high performance coach, she actually helps business professionals achieve highest performance in personal and business life. As you know, they're all intertwined, streamline their business and increase profits, winning back time from work so they can enjoy that time with their family, children, and pursue their passion. So thank you so much for joining me, Emily. I know we've known each other for quite a while, so it's good to finally have you on the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been great watching you grow too.
Oh, thanks. And I'm bummed that you're not going to be at the Dream Business next week, but you've got some other amazing pursuits that you're taking care of there.
Well, there will be other meetings, so I'll be with other meetings.
We can only be in so many places at once.
Right.
So if you don't mind, I do want to tap into your story a little bit, just because it's so impactful, kind of where you've come from and what you've accomplished today. It is extremely inspiring.
Yeah, thank you for asking me that. Well, I was actually born in Vietnam in the late 60s. And, it was actually during the Vietnam War. So growing up, what I saw on TV were bombings, people fleeing from villages, dead bodies. I live in the city, so that was the last place that lost the war. So I was quite sheltered, but still I'm surrounded by all that. Yeah. And in 1975, the communists took over Vietnam, and in 1976, my mother passed away due to cancer. And my father and us, we moved in with his sister and their children. So we have this big extended family together. But in 1981, so a couple of years after the communists took over, there was an impending war with China on the north and Cambodia in the east. And so, they were drafting all the young men. And I'm a girl, I wasn't going to be drafted, but my dad wanted me to leave the country with my aunt because I'm the oldest girl, so I could help her take care of the family. So I left the country with my aunt. Her the two children, my older brother and a couple of cousins, and my brother and the cousins that were leaving because of that impending draft. We didn't want to be involved in a war.
No.
That wasn't really justified. And so we all escaped on a boat. I was one of those boat people. I left the country. I was 13 and never saw my dad again.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. So when I came, when we left, we ended up in a refugee camp. We lived there for several months. Basically, you're given a certain amount of food to eat and a certain amount of water, fresh water to use. And that's it. We were in a deserted island where the refugees just built makeshift homes. So when I came to the U.S., my luggage were just hope and faith, because we didn't have anything else. Yeah. So I started, I think at the very bottom there, the family lived with government help. I woke up in the morning, usually at 5, so I could deliver newspaper while I was in high school for several years. I slept on the floor because there were 10 of us sharing a 2-bedroom apartment. Then I always held a part-time job. I was very driven, so I finished my undergrad in 3 years. I finished my dental school and a master in 4 years. And when I came out, I just bought first dental practice and then the second dental practice and then the third one. And I understood what it took to be a high performer, the dedication, the drive, the commitment. But what changed for me was one day, my daughter reminded me that I had missed one of her recital performance back in 2nd grade. And she was now in 6th grade. And that was like a slap in the face to me, because I thought I was doing pretty well. I got my family. I have my lovely children. I have 3 dental practices. But here I am missing, one performance, which was very important to the kid, right?
Yeah.
I just made a decision right then and there that I'm going to have to make a change, that I will learn everything I could to draw the correct boundaries so I could be super productive at work and I'm still there at home and I'm not going to miss any performances. And then I just made it my mission to help other business owners and entrepreneurs be able to do the same thing. I think it's very important. Coming from my background, knowing how important family is, whether it's your own family or your extended family.
Absolutely.
That's what we have. And it doesn't really matter how much money you make. If you can't spend the time with the family, if you can't spend that money with people you love, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the journey I've been on, is to help people realize their full potential, to maximize that potential, to always live up to that potential, and really not to have any regrets, because it's such a common story that I hear.
Yeah.
Somebody who's been CEO or busy for so many years, and then they look back and they say, well, I didn't do this for my family. I missed my kid's soccer game, those kind of things. And I just believe that we all have a choice. We just have to make that choice and commit to it.
That's so true. And I always say, you regret the things you don't do versus the things that you do sometimes.
Right.
Now, were you always that driven and motivated and cause when you think about it, your story, it would be easy to feel kind of beaten down, and do you know what I mean? Were you just born that way with that kind of determination, or do you think it's something that you can teach someone?
Yes, I think a lot of what I do, it really starts with appreciation, with understanding what you have, where all of that come from. So I think when I was young, I was always driven, as a little kid. of course, it helps to have both parents as teachers, right?
Yes.
So they kind of expect you to do well in school. But I remember, because back in Vietnam, they ranked you every month.
Oh, wow.
In your class. And I remember every month I would be, either first or second, right? Mostly first. And every month, my mom, when she was alive, she would act super surprised and excited when I'm first in the class, right? When I go home and I give her this little certificate. And I remember feeling proud every single month, and I think that started out with a positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
That, I want the recognition. I know I can do my best kind of thing. When I came to this country, without a lot of help from the family, because the family didn't have anything.
No.
And getting help from the government, or if I go to school, maybe somebody's going to give me a lift, right? I go apply for a job and I don't have any experience. Somebody take a chance with me. I think it comes from that appreciation, somebody gave me this, I need to give it my all. And then I've been very blessed. I started out reading, books and materials on personal development. Oh. And it gives you that perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I think that's part of what helped me develop that drive. Part of it is circumstance.
Yeah.
And I think the other part is I put myself in that position.
Yeah. And I think too, like, you were very industrious and resourceful, who to ask for help or what books to read to help you get that motivation or the tools. And thankfully for a lot of entrepreneurs out there that you're available as a resource to help them, so they don't have to figure it all out on their own.
Right. And it's very important that when people go through their life journey, that they need to develop a support system, especially in this day and age with all technology. I don't think anybody should be alone. If they are, they really choose to be alone, right? Yeah. You can easily reach out to people. If you pick the right group to hang out with, and you're blessed to understand the difference, right? Because the group that support you when you're down and just want to whine may not be the right group. You want the group that support you a little bit, but more than that, just kind of kick you in the butt and move you along and challenge you.
Yeah.
So if people can find themselves into those groups, or they would look for a mentor or a coach, somebody who would keep them accountable, who would give them a different perspective, then a lot of time people will not feel stuck. They will not feel that they, all of this is happening to just me. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's easy to feel that way sometimes.
Right. It's a matter of perspective, but it got to be the right person who give you that right perspective to move you in the right direction. Because anybody can give you a perspective, right? They can say, well, look, today is bad, but 2 weeks ago was worse. And then they just leave you there. So you feel better, but you're not getting anywhere. Whereas somebody may say, look, today's like this, but look at so-and-so, they were like you, and now they got to that place. And I think you could do it. That kind of help, that kind of support is better, where people help move you up in your goal achievement and your dreams, and just support you in the right way.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have different goals, right? It's like whether it's financial or what kind of career we want, or house, or what kind of lifestyle we want. What would you say though is the number one thing that everyone wants? Like, is there something that's universal?
Well, universally, I think everyone just want more. They want the best, right? So you're in a relationship, you want a better relationship. You're in a business, you want more business, more money. You're in a competition, you want that gold medal, right? Everybody, I think, is is driven to be the best of their own version. Sometimes, though, because of things that happen to them, they lose that clarity. They think, okay, maybe I'm only that good. I shouldn't try more, right? My business did this last year, and now it's up 10, 15%, and I'm already feeling very good, and I think that's good enough, right? That kind of mentality. So when people want more in life, but they may not have the clarity and the guidance on how to achieve more, sometimes they just get a little lost. Mm-hmm. And then they think, okay, I should just settle for this, right? This should be good enough. So that's one of the things I do with a client is we talk about what you want more in life or in your business. And a lot of time they, just like you said earlier, they intertwine, right? And so having that conversation and having a very clear, defined path on what it is that you actually want, because sometimes people get really muddled about it too.
Oh, I know, or it's really vague, and how are you going to get it if you don't know where to go?
Right. So that's a very important conversation, I think, for a lot of us entrepreneurs or business owners. Is you can't want 10 things the most. It has to be one or two things that you want the most. Yeah. And then everything else, you can make a list. You can prioritize things. When you do it like that, then everything makes sense. When you try to do 10 things that you think you want all 10 things, but actually you don't. Right. You just hit one hurdle and you give up, you hit another hurdle, and then pretty soon you don't want anything to do with it, right? I'm sure you've heard of people like when I coach clients and they would say, so I start the book and then it's just there. And then I need to talk to my boss about my raise or promotion, but I haven't done it. And I really need a vacation with my husband or my wife, and I haven't found time. So which one of it is important, most important? Right? Is it the book or the wife?
Yeah. And
you have to get that clarity.
That makes sense. Now, I know you also, you teach productivity. What else do you cover when you're coaching entrepreneurs to be high performers?
Well, there are 5 main pillars with high performance, and that is clarity, energy, productivity, courage, and influence. So for example, let's say productivity. One of the things that I help my clients realize is if you look at your business, there's going to be very few things in your business that you are the only one that can do it.
Right.
So you learn to realize that first, and then you learn to delegate. And then when you delegate, and you have to train your team, right? And then you let them know what you expect, and you give them feedback. Well, some people, when you ask them to delegate, then they don't have the courage, right?
No.
They don't have the courage to actually give up control. Or if they have a confrontation with a team member, they don't have the courage to say it. Sometimes the client would say, yeah, I should have fired her, but she's been here so many years, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you just can't do that. When you want to be successful, you need to be very clear about what you want. And then you need to be able to carry out those steps, whether requiring, courage, or it just requires a change in your mentality. All of that you have to acquire. I don't think anybody is born courageous, right? A lot of it is a training, right? It's a mental toughness.
Mindset, yeah.
Right. And then you have to commit to, okay, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do this. So courage is one part that we talk about. And then the other part is influence. It's you are influential in your family, with your kids or with your spouse. Whenever you step out of that and you're in a working environment, whether you're an employee or you're a manager or you're self-employed, you're entrepreneur, you're CEO, now you have to have more influence, and you start first in influence by being a role model.
Right.
Right? And there's so much to being a role model, but the very first thing you need to be very clear is to know who you are and, let's say the level of your integrity, right? You know how some people have two different faces, kind of, when they're at work is one, and when they're at home is another. And you just got to be who you are, right? For you to be at home and at work should be very similar. You could be more playful at home, but you should still be you, right?
Yeah.
You can't be two different people. And with that, because once you become a role model and people know what to expect with you, then now you become more influential. And everything you do is with intention. When you go to a network event and you introduce yourself a certain way, you talk about your connection per se, a certain way, you already have a certain amount of influence. So that's another thing that I talk to my client about is, where to leverage who you know, what you know, so that way you can have the influence, because once you have the influence, it's easier to negotiate a deal. It's easier to talk to a client, just the world just open more for you if you have influence.
So does that play into like honing your leadership skills? Is that what you mean? Or is it broader than that?
Well, that's always part of it. But see, here's where people don't see it that way is, what if you're an employee, right? So they would tell me, well, but I'm an employee, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not a manager. I'm not leading a team. I'm just one member.
Right. You still have influence.
Yeah. So what kind of influence do you have? And the question I would have for them is, who do you want to be a role model for?
Right.
It could be, I want to be a role model for my son. That's a very typical answer.
Yeah.
I want to be a role model for my kids. But, the thing is, once you set your mindset that you want to be a role model for somebody, you kind of change, right? Because you got to act a certain way.
You're more aware of your behavior, I think.
Probably. Right. And then that will carry to work. I'm sure there's some teams where it doesn't necessarily have to be a team leader, but there might be one team member that everybody go to, right?
Yeah.
And ask them, okay, what do you think, right? Like, if the team leader is not there, that's the person, that's the go-to person, right?
Yeah.
That person has influence.
Right.
Right? Even though that person may not have a quote position.
Right.
That person has influence because that person carry a certain amount of integrity, exude a certain amount of confidence, show a certain amount of knowledge, right? So sometimes you don't have to be a quote expert or but you can still have that influence. And the thing is, once we live our life that way, we just kind of lift everybody up, because then you start expecting more from other people, right? Like, my word carry a certain amount of weight. I want your word to carry the same amount of weight, and then you start attracting a certain kind of people, and your word just change, right? And that's what I mean is if you go to one circle and you act a certain way, and you go to another circle, you act another way, nobody knows who you are, right? But if you're very clear on who you are, what's important to you, then after a while, they don't question you. Like if I tell my friends, no, I'm not doing that because I got something to do with the kid, right? I already promised the kid I'm going to be home for dinner, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
They respect that because they know me.
Right.
Because, so that's what you want, is you want people to know you based on your quality, or whatever you want to call it, like your characteristic, right?
Yeah, and your authenticity.
Right. And I'm talking about that kind of influence. I'm not,
that makes more sense.
Yeah, you don't have to have a title. Now, if you have a title and you're a leader, then the influence become a little bit different too, because not only do you have to, deal with outside people, now you deal with teams, and it's a whole other dynamic if you actually have a position.
Now, you also mentioned energy, and I was kind of curious what you meant by that one.
Well, energy here is, I'm talking about, for example, if you say, Lindsay, if you tell me, you know what, Emily, I'm really productive, right? I on my list today there are 20 things, and I want to accomplish all 20 things. I would like to know if by 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. in the afternoon, you start feeling like you're crashing. Right.
Right.
I'm not talking about, super energy. I'm talking about
Mental energy.
maintaining your energy during the day.
Yeah.
So you can do everything productively, and you're not at the end of the day say, okay, I'm so drained, I have no more energy, right?
Yeah, you can't even think straight by 3 p.m.
Yeah, you need
juices are gone.
Yeah, you need the coffee and you need the chocolate and all that. And it's funny because people would tell me, there's one recent incident that was really funny. This one dentist asked me, and he's an older guy and he's a little weird, but he said, so tell me, what are you on? And I'm looking at him, I'm sorry?
Yeah. What am I on?
And he said, what are you on? And because he just see me going.
Yeah.
And I don't do anything. I don't drink coffee. I wake up, I do some stretch exercise. I drink a lot of water. I take breaks during the day. I may just do a 2-minute meditation.
Yeah.
During the day. I eat lunch, I go home, eat dinner with the kids. I just have a routine, and I just take care of myself in such a way that I don't get tired in the middle of the afternoon.
Nice.
Sometimes things go hectic. The anticipation, right? You know that during the day, 10 things can go wrong. So just let it go. Yeah. Make sure your team know what to do so they can take care of most of that for you, that kind of a thing. So I would tend to have a lot of energy, and I don't take any medicine. I don't take any supplement. I don't drink any coffee, right? But I turn around and then the people complaining about energy all the time.
Yeah, that's so true.
Right? And then they say that they don't have time, and I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, you don't even do half of what I do. Yeah. Why is it you don't have time? So the energy here is about maintaining the high energy. Mm-hmm. You can do what you need to do in the day, so you can go home in the evening and still can sit there and have a fun conversation with your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just held a meetup a couple nights ago, and one of my friends told me, I told my girlfriend, and she really was interested, but then she said she was too tired to go. And I just told the group this morning, that one of the networking group, I said, if something is important to you, it's going to help grow your business, you're going to put it on the calendar. And when you put it on the calendar, then it's going to happen, right? And you don't give that excuse to yourself that you're too tired. You make a commitment to go there and to meet people and to do whatever you're supposed to do, whatever your intention is for that meeting. And I think about it. There's so many things out there right now, all kind of supplements people can take, right, to maintain their energy. We got so many things that are automated that it doesn't take a lot of manual labor kind of thing anymore to do certain things. Yeah. Yet people say that they are busy, even though there are a lot of technology to help take care of, redundant tasks. Mm-hmm. And people say they're tired, and I just don't get it.
I see what you're saying, yeah. And I think people don't get enough sleep either, which doesn't really help their cause. But so
right. But they say they don't have enough sleep, and they're working into the night or whatever. And I don't know how many jobs in general where you actually have to work until the night, unless you're dealing with international client, right? There's a different time zone, then you might be in that category. But other than that, if you give yourself, 26, 27 hours in a day, and you plan your day fairly well, I think you should be able to do whatever needs to get done for that day. like that. And then if you find yourself, you know what, I'm pretty productive and I still don't have time, it's time to delegate. It's time to hire a team member, because you can't just add more on to the day and expect to finish everything at the same time.
And having realistic expectations and goals, I think.
Right.
So you teach people how to be high performers. What does high performance mean, really? Or mean to you?
Well, high performance mean performing and maintaining a high level of energy, clarity, productivity, courage, and influence. It's a combination of all that at a heightened and sustained level. So we don't want, today I'm very clear on what I want to do, and next week, I don't know why I did that, you know. I don't know why I signed up for that program, you know, or with the energy, right?
Yeah.
You know, and for example, I think from my 24 years being a dentist, I think I could think of 2 times why I miss work. That doesn't have to do with a meeting, you know, like that I have to miss because of another part of business.
Yeah.
One time was because one of the kids had, like chicken pox.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm staying home, right? And the other time I had some muscle spasm, so I decided, okay, I'm going to go check with the doctor and make sure that I'm not dying or something, you know. And those are 2 specific times that I remember missing work, you know. Other than that, I don't miss work. And then I have staff around me, you know, I'm sick today and I don't feel well today and I'm this and I'm that. And it's just funny because I can't be the perfect one, but I think I'm just very clear in what I need to do.
Yeah.
And I make it happen. And my wish is to help other people do the same thing. Because I think when we're taking, you know, just small steps to get our clarity, to get our energy to where we want it to be, to set the intention to be productive, and then have the courage to carry everything out as planned, we can grow our business, we can grow our life, and, you know, we can live our life up to our potential.
Yeah, I agree. And sometimes you just kind of go on autopilot and you're just going and going and you don't stop to think about what you're doing and what you're intentional on and what you're not.
Well, that's where the clarity comes in, you know, because when you're real clear, it's very easy to say no to certain things. Like somebody come and ask you, and if you think about it, you go, wait a minute, does this take me closer to my goal or not? Right?
Yeah.
And then you say no to it. But, you know, on the other end, you also have what I call white space, right? Like time for yourself on the calendar. So you can do whatever you want to do. That way, you need time to recharge, right? You need time to renew your energy. And that's why during the day, I always recommend to my client, you know, you need to take breaks. If you can't go outside, I need you to stand up and walk around. I need you to stand up and go get some water. I need you to stand up and just change your position, do a couple of stretches, you know. Change all that. When you sit back down, you just feel a little bit more renewed. And you don't need to go drink coffee, right? You just drink water.
Yeah.
You know, and get some oxygen into your body and your brain. And you're going to feel better.
I know. And I think sometimes we need help making these good habits, right? And being accountable to someone to make sure that they get done. I mean, the more you do something, the more it will be ingrained in your routine.
Right. And that's what a coach is. The coach will give you a different perspective and will help keep you accountable. A coach cannot live your life for you, but, you know, a good coach will be able to help you get to where the coach is. You know, that is not all theory. It's something that can be done.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. One of my clients, one of her thing is to lose weight. And she was contemplating about hiring a nutrition coach. And I asked her, why don't you do what I asked you to do? You pre-cook your meals so you don't eat junk.
Yeah.
You take time to eat lunch, because you know how when you skip lunch and then all of a sudden you get really, really hungry and then you just overeat.
I know. Wow.
Yeah. And it's really simple step. And it was so funny because we had this conversation in early December. She wanted to hire a nutrition coach. And I said, why don't you do this? You write down what you're going to cook and what you're going to eat for 1 week. You just write it down. You haven't done it yet. You go to that nutrition coach and you say, this is my plan. Tell me the reason why I should hire you, right? Like, what else can you help me, right? Because if this is what I'm going to eat and this is what I'm going to do, what else can you give me, right?
Yeah.
So I actually don't know if she talked to the nutrition coach or not, but she came back and she told me, okay, I decided I'm not going to hire the coach. And I go, okay, great. And just 2 weeks ago, she told me she lost 11 pounds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And she is in her mid-60s, right?
Wow.
And so we didn't, I didn't say take this supplement and clean out your gut with this. All I said is just, if you get busy and you can't watch what you eat, bring whatever you're going to eat. Then you don't have any choice. You're going to eat what you bring, right? Unless you decide whatever you bring, you don't want to eat it. But if you cook that much chicken and you have it with you with a little salad, that's what she wants to do, then that's basically what you're going to eat. And it's healthy because you cook it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The amount is right because, we kind of figure out how much we should eat kind of thing. And, I'm not a nutritionist.
Right.
All I told, when she told me, because she's a florist, so she's all over the place delivering stuff, and especially the holiday season, more orders come in and things like that, so she gets busy. So that's what I tell her. The way the schedule is, I don't want you to give me an excuse that you're too busy.
Yes.
It's faster to go to McDonald's, or it's faster to go to fast food. Have the food with you. You don't have an excuse that you have no time to go anywhere, because you don't have to go anywhere.
I like your no-nonsense approach.
Well, I always believe when all else fails, go back to the basics.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah. So that's how I live my life. And that's a lot of time with coaching, it's asking the client what makes sense to them.
Yeah. The right questions.
Remind them that why it makes sense to them.
Yeah.
and then asking them to do it, right?
So they carry it out. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
So how can people find out about your coaching, Emily?
Well, people can go to my website. It's dremillyletran.com. So it's DREMILYLETRAN.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I have a gift for all your listeners.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, if they want to download, it's an ebook. It actually tells my story in there, a little bit of that, and all of my strategies on how I grow my business. So it's going on 24 years. All businesses are very similar. You take care of the clients, you build your team, you show appreciation to your clients, and you strive to leave a legacy. And people can download my ebook at exceptionalleverage.com/ebook.
Perfect. And we'll have those links on the show notes as well.
Great.
To make it easy. Well, thank you so much for coming here. It was a great conversation, and made me stop and think about some of the bad habits I have, Emily.
Well, if I can just change one thing in one person,
I know.
That we are trying to be better.
Yeah.
One thing at a time and one day at a time.
Absolutely. And I love the way you talked about influence, because that really made me stop and think about it in a different perspective. So that was great.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. So that is it for this special episode of the Sailing to Success podcast show, folks. You can, of course, go to lindsayphillips.com to listen to this episode. Check out my videos and blogs. And if you do need some help with delegating some tasks and getting more content marketing done, you can go to ssonlinesupport.com. So until next time, folks, I wish you all a productive and profitable week, and may the winds always be at your back.
You've been listening to the Sailing to Success podcast, the show created exclusively for entrepreneurs and small business owners looking for a safe port in the storm of fast-paced business growth. To make sure you don't miss a single profit-boosting show, subscribe to this podcast at iTunes and www.sailingtosuccesspodcast.com. To learn more about how Lindsay and her team can help you increase customer service, run your business more effectively, and increase your profits, go to www.ssonlinesupport.com. That's www.ssonlinesupport.com. Now go and implement what you've learned and come back next week for more Sailing to Success podcasts.